The crystalline spires of Zephyria pierced the violet sky like frozen lightning. In the highest tower, Leo knelt before the dragon lady, his ceremonial robe torn and bloodied from the trials. Her scaled hand, each fingernail a razor-sharp obsidian blade, lifted the tattered fabric from his shoulder. "End it," she whispered, her voice carrying the weight of millennia. "Your species has failed the convergence. Earth will be cleansed." Leo's jaw clenched. For 3 days, he'd endured the trials of worthiness alongside representatives from 17 other species. The Draconic Council had deemed them all inferior, unworthy of joining the galactic collective. But humans had lasted longest, and that had to count for something. "With respect, Dragon Lady Vorthak, we deserve..." Silence. Her wings unfurled slightly, casting shadows that seemed to swallow light itself. "You showed promise, young human. More than most. But promise is not enough. The decision is final." Through the translucent walls, Leo could see Mia in the adjacent chamber, furiously working at one of the draconic terminals. She'd been assigned as Earth's tactical advisor, but her true expertise lay in xenobiology and pattern recognition. Even now, facing extinction, she refused to accept defeat. "May I have one final request?" Leo asked, noting the slight tilt of Vorthak's elongated head, a sign of curiosity among her kind. "Speak. Let me say goodbye to my partner. Let us face our end together." The dragon lady's vertical pupils dilated. "Sentiment. Another weakness of your species, but granted, you have earned that much." As Leo entered the adjacent chamber, Mia didn't even look up from the holographic displays dancing before her fingers. "Leo, look at this. The draconic historical records, they're not what they seem. Mia, she's given us permission to..." "No, listen." Mia spun around, her eyes blazing with discovery. "The dragons aren't the original members of the collective. They conquered it. And the species they test? They don't cleanse the failures, they absorb them. Genetic material, consciousness, everything." Leo's blood ran cold. "That's impossible. The collective has existed for millions of years." "Exactly. And they've been doing this the entire time. But here's the thing." Mia pulled up a spiral of data. "Every species they've absorbed has left a mark. A genetic signature. And guess what I found in the deepest part of their genome?" Before Leo could respond, Vorthak entered the chamber, her massive form somehow moving without sound. "Your time is up, Dragon Lady." Mia stood, shoulders squared despite the trembling in her hands. "I know what you are. What you all are." Vorthak's wings spread fully now, each membrane containing patterns that hurt to look at directly. "Impossible. You primitive creatures could never..." "Mitochondrial sequence 47 Alpha Prometheus," Mia interrupted. "Ring any bells?" "Because it should. It's human DNA. Ancient human DNA from about 65,000 years ago." The dragon lady went perfectly still. Leo stepped forward, understanding dawning. "You've encountered us before. Our ancestors." "More than that," Mia continued, her voice gaining strength. "They didn't just encounter you, they changed you. That sequence? It's what gives you telepathic abilities. It's what allows you to process quantum calculations. Every advancement your species claims as its own came from absorbing other races. And humans. We were one of the first." Vorthak's scale shifted color, cycling through spectrums visible and invisible. When she spoke, her voice carried harmonics that hadn't been there before. "You know not of what you speak, don't I?" Mia pulled up another display. "The trials of worthiness, they're not tests of superiority. They're compatibility checks. You can only absorb species that match certain genetic markers. And the more a species resists, the more valuable their genetic material becomes." "The torn robe," Leo said suddenly. "The ceremony. It's not about humiliation, it's about taking samples." For the first time in recorded history, a dragon lady took a step backward. "Here's what I think happened," Mia pressed on. 65,000 years ago, you tried to absorb humanity. But something went wrong. We were too adaptable, too unpredictable. Instead of us becoming part of you, you became part of us, and you've been running from that truth ever since." Vorthak's form began to shimmer, her carefully maintained appearance flickering like a failing hologram. Beneath the scales and wings, something else emerged, something heartbreakingly familiar. "We are not running," she said, her voice now a chorus of thousands. "We are returning." The illusion shattered completely. Where the dragon lady had stood, a figure remained, humanoid but evolved, carrying traces of every species the collective had encountered. And at its core, unmistakably human. Every species we test, we hope, Vorthak continued. We hope to find the key to becoming whole again. To remember what we were before we became what we are. Leo found his voice. You're not conquerors. You're lost children trying to find your way home. And now you know the truth, Vorthak said. Humanity didn't fail the trials. You passed them the moment you arrived, because you are what we once were, what we hope to be again. Mia stepped forward, extending her hand. Then let's figure it out together. No more tests, no more absorption, just cooperation. The being that had been Vorthak stared at the outstretched hand for a long moment. Then, with movements that spanned evolutionary epochs, she reached out and took it. Welcome to the real collective, she said. Welcome home. Outside the crystal spires, Earth hung in the void, no longer facing extinction but reunion. Humanity's greatest test hadn't been proving their worth to the galaxy. It had been reminding the galaxy of its own.